Okay, this is the video over anaerobic and aerobic respiration. Starting off, to compare them, they both release ATP from glucose molecules in the beginning of the process. Contrasting, anaerobic or aerobic requires oxygen and anaerobic does not to go through the process. So the steps starting off with aerobic, both start with glucose. So the glycolysis is in the cytoplasm and it goes through the process, ends up producing 2 ATP and 2 NADH, and then it has a reaction with pyruvate and acetylcholine, and that reaction will then produce 2 NADH. The molecules then enter the Krebs cycle. The acetylcholine will end up releasing CO2, which is carbon dioxide. Altogether, that produces 2 ATP, 6 NADH, 2 FADH2. Then they enter the electron transport chain, and with a final result of 32 to 34 ATP released. Aerobic respiration does not require the oxygen to go through this. It reacts with pyruvate. It produces 2 ATP, 2 ATP, and 2 NADH. Then those molecules start to ferment and regenerate the NADH to keep the glucose running. In animals, the pyruvate will then ferment into lactic acid. So like in mammals, we would have lactic acid, which is what happens when we exercise and our muscles start to burn. In yeast, though, pyruvate is converted into ethanol, and it ends up producing an extra 2 ATP, which is completely different from the aerobic respiration, where it produces a significantly large amount. We need oxygen because our cells without oxygen are not able to produce as much ATP, meaning that we as humans do not have energy, we wouldn't have as much energy to do the things that we do every day. If we don't have that oxygen in our cells, they just eventually die off and aren't able to regenerate. So it's very important that we're regularly breathing.